Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. Hello, my warrior friends. How are we doing today? I didn't get a chance to do one last night. I wanted to kind of do one today to cover up from last night, Sunday. So hope you guys doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are continuing to follow God's rules and in His purpose by conquesting yourself first and conquesting everything else around you at this time. So I'm not going to do shout outs today. I'm going to talk about a couple of things because we had a few people who kind of mentioned some things that I think we lost a subscriber and other things happened. So let me kind of address those and then we'll get to our topic in a second here. So part of the understanding, guys, I don't do this for monetary reasons. I don't do it for subscriptions. I do it because I want to give information out there and put it out there so that people who are struggling with the same issues that I struggled with for years can look at it and say, okay, I can identify and maybe get helped. If I can help one person a week, I'm happy, right? That makes this worthwhile. Now, obviously, I have to make money. I have these kids who are still living with me. I still have grandkids, all kinds of stuff that I still have to kind of pay for. So I work a lot of hours in a week. I work like 65 hours a week. And so I don't always have time to respond back. I know one person was upset about that. I'm not going to mention names. No need to do that. But the idea is that I apologize for not getting back to you guys. I try to do it with shout outs eventually and videos. I try to catch them all. If I don't, it's not an offense to you guys whatsoever. It's a matter that I just don't have the time. Now, one day maybe I will be able to put a lot of time into this and maybe even try to, get monetary things and all kinds of stuff like that. I'm grateful for any donations, things you guys give me, but it's not something I'm doing because of that reason. Maybe unlike a lot of other people out there, I don't really care about making the money on this. I care about getting it out. And that's why I do it. I still do it I try to do it on Wednesday and Sunday night. Last night, obviously, I didn't get a chance to do it, but I'm still going to do it on those days because that's the days where I'm usually freest the most. But the idea is that I'm not interested in subscribers. It's great. But I would do this if I had no subscribers. And you guys are wonderful, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm great at helping people. But I would still put these on. And the idea, guys, is that I'm trying to get information out. So be patient. I would try to get to you guys when I can. I would try to be able to, get as much information out there as I possibly can to be able to help you guys as much as possible. And again, some people thought they don't like my screaming at the beginning or end. Guys, you know what's coming. I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to scream any other time during this show except at the beginning and end. And it's a battle cry. It's because this is a serious issue. This is something that has hurt me for years, and it's hurting a lot of young people. And I'm trying to kind of get people recognizing it. So if you're taken aback by it, I guess that's just going to be your choice. I'm not going to stop doing it because it is until we remedy the problem, until we have people stopping and watch images and stopping all this stuff and getting control of themselves and being able to live a life that is God purpose, I'm never going to stop. And that's my mantra, of the way I live. So I'm not going to do that. I saw a lot of fakeness last night in the Super Bowl. It just disgusts me to watch the NFL like it is now as compared to it used to be. And maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but to my mind, a lot of this stuff is not something that God would approve of. A lot of things going on when I watch these type of shows. So I don't watch them very often. I did last night, and again, I just did not like what I saw most of the time. But that's my opinion. And so obviously, I just kind of share my thoughts and ideas of things on here. But again, it might be, again, and the other thing is the picture. Obviously, I will try to do that at some point. I'll try to do some streaming stuff. I know I've been saying that for a long time. And once again, I apologize for not getting to some of this stuff and getting to you guys. You guys do mean a lot to me. It's just that I don't have a lot of time in a day to do it. We're expecting another Vigor Warriors grandchild any day now. So it's also something that's harder for me to do. So that being all said and done, let's move on at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's move on to topic. So the topic is by Derivative, and I can't remember the number, but Derivative had a great topic talking about staying busy. So let's talk about staying busy. And I've had to do that. The reason I'm working, or the reason I started working so many hours and trying to make money for family and grandkids and all kinds of stuff like that, the other byproduct of that was the idea that I was able to stay busy enough that I did not think about all these women and images, right? And that's a key thing, warriors, when you're doing this. When you start off and you're trying to start a streak of retention, you have to find enough things to keep yourself preoccupied. Now, this means all through the day and night. Now, some people have asked me about wet dreams. We'll try to get to those. I don't count wet dreams as part of it. That's going to happen, especially when you're younger. It happened to me when I was younger. I don't count that part because you really don't have a lot of control at night. But obviously, if you set the table all day long and you're working hard, it happened to me after a few days because I didn't do it. And I think somehow subconsciously that happened. But I say to you, if you set the table during the day and all through the day, the chances are a lot less that's going to happen to you as time goes on. And you get stronger and stronger. Remember, we talked about it takes 21 days to stop a habit or build a habit. So if you're able to start retention and you're able to just do things naturally and keep yourself busy, God will reward you with having all that energy, using it for purposes that are not thinking about sex and thinking about intercourse and all that kind of stuff and thinking about images. You're basically thinking about trying to get done, improve your life, and increase things you're doing. So the key to all this, my friends, is to keep busy. Derivatives exactly right, and there's a shout out to you, my friend, for this one. I think is a great point he's talking about of saying we have got to keep busy, which that means, what does that mean? Well, certainly there's a lot of things, and doing stuff that is not really hard thinking, just manual stuff, is not going to help you here. You're still going to be thinking about women and thinking about these things. What you've got to do is get things that are keep your mind constructively active. So, for instance, you can go in the morning, and I take a cold shower. Once in a while, I'll take a warm one and then a cold one right after that. But most of the time, it's just cold. It's pure cold right away. It gets my mind into thinking about other things. And so if I was sitting there pondering anything about, getting excited, arousal, anything like that, I stopped it right away with the cold shower. The other thing you do is you try to focus on your health. Now, I've lost 65 pounds over the last 6 months. I feel tremendous, but I'm still looking at my calorie counter. Like, for example, right now, I ate a lot today. I'm at 3,400 calories, which is usually high. But I've also expended about 25. So I'm going to have to hit the treadmill tonight. I'm going to have to hit the bike and try to reduce that with some weightlifting and getting some things done. So I always have a positive calorie deficiency at the end of the day. And so I try to get at least 3,500 calories a week, which gives me around a pound a day, a pound a week, something like that. But I'll probably steady off at some point once I hit 190, and then I'll just kind of level out a little bit. But the idea, guys, is you want to focus on that. Get your mind off of women. Focus on that. Focus on the foods you want to build. Then focus on your work. You obviously have work. If it's not something that's going to use a lot of constructive energy, then try to make it constructive by thinking about things that are going to make you work harder, do more, learn more skills, be able to work active. So now you're more busy. You're not thinking about these women all the time. Then obviously when you come home, you've got to be careful. I will go and work out, get ready for the next day and teach and find lessons or do consulting work, trying to figure out days. So I don't spend a lot of time. I'll look at the computer a little bit, but I don't watch TV. Very rarely. Football is something I liked. I'm going to go more away from that because I just, like I said, was kind of disgusted with stuff I saw yesterday. I'm not going, the game was good, but that's not the game I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about how people behave and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm not going to really pay that much more attention. I'll try to keep an eye on it as time goes on, but I'm not going to focus on it. And at night then, the main thing is to get to bed at a good time. Don't stay up late at night. That's always a danger in my book. Don't stay up late at night. Go ahead and go to sleep, but try to focus on getting up early and trying to move into the next habit and build a habit. I try to work out when I get up after the cold shower. I do my Kelder's Fountain of Youth exercises, and then I go ahead and focus on a little bit of stretching, a little weight training at time, different things like that, so that I can get out the door by 6:30 Central Time to be able to get to classes and things like that. So the idea, guys, you want to do is you want to keep busy all the time. Have some hobbies. I have a lot of hobbies. I have model trains, that HO train set from many, many years ago that I love. I keep working on. I have a great large collection of comic books that I keep up with. I have a lot of these low electric football men and vibrating ones that I collected from the 1960s, 67, which was a good year for those guys. And I have a lot of things that I keep up with, reading and sports and things like that. Keep yourself to the point where you have hobbies and goals. There's a old research out there that talks about the fact that if people retire, remember, the word retire, guys, means stop it. Now, this is for the older guys like us. I'm 63. You can never retire, in my opinion. People try to get retired, and then the average age they live with no hobbies, no goals, nothing going on, besides women, is 7 years. Now, who in the heck wants to retire and live only 7 more years? So you need to get independently to yourself. The reason why women live a lot longer than men, and they do, is because they build networks. They build all these type of things where they depend on each other, and so they can live a lot longer. Most men are wrapped up in their job so much that when their job leaves, they pass away. This happens a great deal with coaches, with all kinds of people we see. You never want to do that. You want to keep big, no matter what people say to you. A lot of times, women may tell you, don't do this, focus on me instead of those other people. That's a bad thing to do. What you want to do is focus on yourself. You can always give them attention at times, but you've got to also take care of yourself. And that means making sure that you're fit, making sure that you got goals, you have your hobbies, you have things set up that you're developing yourself. Develop yourself. As you develop yourself more, the women will be chasing you. Never worry about the women. And I say this from many years of experience. Women will chase you if they're chasing somebody that they want. And 90% of them will fight over the 10% that are left of doing this, because they understand there's a quality man out there. You want to be that quality man, but you don't want to care about that. Like I said, I don't care about subscriptions, monetary things. Don't care about that kind of stuff. Care about making yourself better. I care about learning from you guys. I care about making myself better. When I talk about this, we talk about this issue, I'm still learning. There's times where I go off of monk mode and it's not good, and I gotta keep focusing on monk mode. But I lose track as well. I'm not good at monk mode yet. I'm gonna learn better, but that's my area that I have to improve on. I have made it about 1,200 days or so that's wonderful, but that's not monk mode. And so I've got to get better with that. But those are the kind of things you keep working on. Each one of us is working at a different level. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, 63, like I'm going to be in June, that you're going to keep working at this because you want to get better. Don't worry about the women. Don't worry about anything else except doing that. Then everything will come your way once you do that. Now, we get distracted, as you can see, by the stuff around us in the media, all kinds of stuff. You can get very easily distracted by women walking by with you with almost no clothes on. Those things can distract you. What you really want to do is focus on yourself. Focus on being busy enough to take care of yourself every little way, and now you're going to be better and better and better. And you're going to find that you love doing this so much that you forget about the women. I've had many of you guys talk about the fact that as you go on and you do more, you don't think about the women as much. Of course not, because your mind is focusing on getting things done and bettering yourself each long way. There's lots of things you can do. Men are very good at building things, at developing things, but they get caught a lot of times because we don't have the training. And I know this from my daughter's case when it's growing up. They start thinking about boys at an early age, 10, 11, 12 years old. They focus on boys because it's the main focus for them in families and things like that. The boys we don't start focusing on the women until they're perhaps even in the 20s and settling down, 25. Most cases, the young men, they don't really think about it, they're just having fun. But that's also then an opportunity to get tempted. And you got to be careful of that. This is why a lot of men start early having problems, in some cases functional problems, because they are releasing too much. You know, some people I know releasing 7, 8 times a day their energy. You're never going to live longer than 30 years old, or whatever you're going to be. You're not going to be anything that's worthwhile at that point. Because the bottom line is you've got to keep that energy and use it for constructive purposes. And you look at history of all the men that have lived a long time and been successful, a lot of them have kept their energy. They've used it transmuted. And again, guys, I have lots of videos on this. If you need me to go back over it, or Keldler's found and view the exercises again, I will. And as I said, I'll get to all your comments as time goes on. But I want to make sure that as we talk about this, you realize part of the issue is that I'm keeping myself busy, right? Now, obviously, the downside is you can't address everything to everybody. And so you take some sacrifices. In this case, I don't want to feel that you guys are any more of a, I feel you're very important in this whole process to me. And I want to get information out to you guys. And like I said, I want to try to respond as fast as I can. But it's going to be hard sometimes. And that's why I say, but the good thing about all that is the fact that you got to keep busy. You got to keep busy doing things. And you keep busy doing things, you'll find a way to organize it eventually. And that's what I want to do with all this, is to be able to kind of get it done. But derivative, you made a great point, and I think it's a great point to take on, that you really want to stay busy enough so you're not tempted. You're not thinking about all these type of things out there, the temptation out there, whether it's drinking, whether it's smoking, drugs, women, all these things go together. And it's the evil one. I saw the evil one last night in media, all that kind of stuff. You have to be careful of falling into that trap like many of us do. And I'm not judging people on falling in a trap. There's lots of people that fall in a trap. They're brainwashed. This is that blue matrix sitting out there. And everything is not what it seems to be, my friends. It is not what it seems to be. When you sit there and look at how these people living and drinking, all that kind of stuff, you feel, well, that's the high life. That's the way I should live. No way. No way. I found it the hard way. That's the opposite. What you got to do is make sure you're following along in your instincts, and you know your instincts are following God. And God will tell you what's right and wrong, and you know these things like drinking and sex and these things are not something the Bible talks about. And in fact, when people drink, they usually have problems. And that's the thing you got to be careful of. So drugs, drinking, overeating, all this kind of stuff is an overindulgence. It's almost like self-destruction. And you're seeing these people self-destruct in many ways. Even though it's highlighted in all these big things on media, it's not really what it is. So again, guys, go back to this whole thing, thinking about the idea that you have to be busy. And you have to focus on trying to be successful, to better yourself every day. All right, my friends, I hope this helped. Again, I will try to get back to everybody as soon as I can. Do some shout-outs next time again. And if I get a chance, I'll try to do one before Sunday. But if I get to Sunday, I'll do the next one and continue consisting. The key thing to me is also, I'm not going to get burnt out doing this. I'll just continue doing this as long as I can because I like getting the message out. And like I said, there's topics and things you want me to talk about. I have a whole list of them, a whole list of shout-outs we'll get to soon. All right, my friends, 2 things I'm going to say before I go teach. 1, every day is a new day to a great warrior. Each one of you are great warriors. And even if you unsubscribe, even if you say something that, you don't like me, you don't like this thing, I still respect your warrior. As long as you're retaining, as long as you become the best person you can become, I respect you. I have no trouble. I don't take things personally any longer. I'm at the point where saying, your opinion is great. Whatever your opinion is. If it's something I can do to help, I will. But the shouting and things like that are things that need to happen right now. Now, the second thing, guys, speaking of shouting, we're in a battle. And the reason we do a call to action is to continue to battle on the evil one. And that's why I always say, battle on!